Good morrow. Welcome to Tabletop Celts. I'm Jack. Today I'll be doing a solo battle report for you guys. I'm going to be playing some Middle-earth strategy battle game from GW. It's going to be a 350 point game. Now I know that doesn't sound like a lot, but because I'm taking cheap heroes, I am going to have a lot of minis on the board. It's going to be Elves and Dwarves versus Barad-dûr, orcs, led by some ring wraiths. I'm going to show you the warbands. I'll start off with the good side, then I'll show you the evil side, and then I'll show you what objective and stuff we're playing, and then we could just jump straight on to it. So for this army list, I'm taking a mixture of Rivendell Elves and Erebor Dwarves. I know the Army of Thrall wasn't in the Zergan Age, but they're just representing the dwarves that I am doing for this battle, just because I liked how the minis looked and stuff. I'll start off with the Dwarven Warband. It's being led by a Dwarf Captain. He's the one wearing blue. I know it's kind of hard to see, but he's got a bit of blue on him, but there. So he's got a axe and a shield and dwarf armor. In his warband, he's got 2 dwarves with axe and shield and armor. And then he's got 10 dwarves with shield, spear and dwarf armor. Then for the Rivendell Elves, I've got a High Elf Captain. He has got a sword and shield and armor. I've got a High Elf Banner. I've got a High Elf Warrior with a bow. And then finally, I've got 4 Elf Warriors with sword and shield. And that is 350 points of the Forces of Good. They don't have any of their army bonuses because they are allies of convenience. Welcome to the Force of Evil. So this is the Barad-dûr army list. I've got 2 ring wraiths here. They are both nameless, they're just basic ring wraiths. I'll start off with this one. So this one is going to be the leader. I've upgraded him with 2 might, all his will, and all his fate. So he's 2 might, 14 will, or 12. I'll show you when the game starts, I'll write it all down. And 2 fate. In his warband, he's got an orc with a sword, shield, and a banner. He's got 4 orcs with sword, pick, and shields. He has 4 orcs with spear and shields, and he has 2 orcs with just bows. Then with the second ring wraith, once again he's fully upgraded with all his might, will, and fate. He's got pretty much the same, except he hasn't got a banner. So 4 orcs with sword and shield, 4 with spear and shield, and 2 orc archers. And that's 350 points of Barad-dûr. Their army bonus, it only really matters, I'm pretty sure, with the Dark Lord, so I'm not going to bother using it. So I'm just not playing with any army bonuses in this game. Today we are playing Capture and Control. So there's going to be 5 objective markers, 1 in the center and then halfway between the board edges. So 1 there, 1 there, 1 there, 1 there. Now for deployment, you pick a warband, you roll a dice. On a 1 to 3, you have to go in these areas. And then on a 4, 5, and 6, you can go anywhere. So you can go up here or down there, depending on which side of the board you're on. So you score 250 points for each objective marker under control at the end of the phase. You score 1 victory point for causing 1 or more wounds to the enemy leader, or kill the enemy leader. Wounds prevented by successful fate rolls do not count. And you score 1 victory point if the enemy force is broken at the end of the game. I forgot to mention, the elf for the Forces of Good is going to be the Warlord, because the elf and the dwarf are the same rank, but I'm just going to pick the elf to be the leader. How the game ends, which I should have done before all that. Once the force has broken, the game might suddenly end. At the end of each turn, after this condition has been met, roll a d6, on a 1 to 2 the game ends. Otherwise, the battle continues for another turn. So for controlling objectives, at the start of the game, all of the objectives are considered to be neutral and do not belong to either side. If during the end phase of any turn, 1 or more other models are in base contact with an objective, then that objective comes under your control. If during the end phase, both sides have models in base contact with an objective, then that objective returns to being a neutral objective. And this is the table I'll be actually playing on today. So I've just got a basic board to represent some wasteland, maybe some desert or something like that, around Mordor. Then I've got some ruins of men, Some ruins of Escalite they're called, or ruins of Middle-earth. So here are the objectives. There's one there, one there, one there, and one there, and one there. Barad-dûr ended up on this side of the board, and the Elves and Dwarves ended up over there. All of them ended up in the centres of the middle, so within 12 of the centre, so they ended up there quite close to each other. Deployed this warband first with the leader Ringwraith, then I deployed the Elves, then this unit came on, put 2 Orc Archers up there, Orc Warriors, there's the Ringwraith, and the Dwarves came in over there. For Might, Will and Fate, I have the following. So I'll mark it off like this. The Elf has 2 Might, 1 Will, 1 Fate. Dwarf has 2 Might, 1 Will, Fate. Then I've put Nazgul, or N up, which is Nazgul, sword pointing up, which is this guy, leader. 2 Might, 14 Will, 2 Fate. The other Nazgul, 2 Might, 14 Will, 2 Fate. And I'll be keeping track then, like on and off camera. I shall be rolling with my Lord of the Rings dice. I've got a collection of Agmar, Elves, and Fangorn dice. The symbol is always a 6 on all the dice, and the 1 is just 1 dot. And then I got this, and a measuring tape to measure stuff. Okay guys, so that's all the pre-game setup stuff. Now we're just going to jump on to the game. I'm going to roll for priority. So the Agmar dice will be for Barad-dûr, the Elf dice will be for the Forces of Good. Barad-dûr will be taking the first turn. So I'll do all the movement, and then we'll see where we're at. I've just done a bit of shuffling around, so I think it's better off if I stick together, so I'm kind of moving all my guys back here. I left my 2 archers up there. My 2 Ringwraiths are in 12 of the High Elf Captain. So my plan is for them to drain his courage. Most of these guys stayed put. These 2 orcs are going around for that objective. So we're just going to kind of draw these guys here, maybe cap, and go around in a capped objective or 2. And then I'm going to cast Drain Courage on this Elf Captain. So I'll start off with the boss. I've already marked the will off. So I've got 13 left now on both of them. So the first one, it does drain his courage. I do have a will to resist, but because it's such a high number, I'm not going to bother with that one. And then with the other Ringwraith, he gets a 3, which does cast, because it's casting a 2+. I will try to resist that one. Looking for a 3 with my will, and I get it. So I'm out of will, and I resist one of those spells, but my courage is down by 1 now. So he'll take him down to courage 5, which is still pretty good for the Forces of Good movement. With both my Elf Captain and the Dwarf Captain, I called heroic moves, so they get +3 to their movement. The Elves ended up here, close to the Ringwraith, so hopefully they'll get that priority. I left the Archer where he was. For the Dwarves, the majority of them move forward with the Captain there. I left 1 on the objective, and I move in these 2 to go get that objective, and that's pretty much the movement. So then we're going to do some shooting. So I'll start off with the evil shooting. I'm going to try and take out that Elf Archer with the Orc Archers. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to shoot these 2 into that High Elf Archer. So I'm hitting on 5s because I haven't moved. Nothing. Hilarious. This one can shoot him normally, but this one would have to make it in the way. So I'll do this one first. Shooting into the Archer. Misses. This one is just going to take a shot into that front elf there with the sword and shield. Oh. Strength 2. I'm pretty sure it's like 6s and 5s. It's definitely not a 4. Orc shooting, maybe. So good. The elf is going to return fire into this Orc Archer. So he's going to hit on a 3, because he hasn't moved. And he misses. That's why I didn't use the Rivendell dice out of curiosity. Nah, I saw what I missed anyway. Lol. So that's everything for that turn. Then we go over to priority. So Agmar dice is Barad-dûr, Elf dice is Elves and Dwarves. So the Forces of Good take the priority. Now I need to think about heroic moves. Yeah, I need to cast my magic before they charge me. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to call heroic move with both Ringwraiths. So they're down a point of might each now, so they'll be on 1 each. I think I will. Do do I just want to call it with the dwarves though? Dwarfs move is poor. They move 5. 5 will get them in there. Elves, well, they can definitely get in there. I tell you what, I'll spend all my might. I'll call heroic move then with my elf captain and my dwarf captain. So it will be a roll off. So once again, elf dice, Agmar dice. The forces of good get it. So then I'm going to call with me, with everyone. So those dwarves and these elves get to move. And then it'll be the forces of evil, and then everyone else will get to go for good. Right, so all the movement's done. So let me kind of recap what happened. So I tried to charge my elf captain into the ring wraith, but he rolled a 3. And because he's only coverage 5, that made an 8, so it wasn't quite enough to get in. So then I charged one of the warriors into the ring wraith and this orc. He rolled quite well, so he got in. Even with a -1, he still got in, because he's coverage 5. Then I charged I charged a dwarf into these 2 orcs, and then spear supported him. And then, because of the control zone was gone, I did a courage test for my dwarf captain. He passed because he's courage 4, and he needed a 6. Technically, he needed a 7 because of -1, so he got in. So he's charged the captain with the spear support. Then I charged the rest of the dwarves in here, so it's 2 dwarves on 2 orcs over here. My elves, I got 2 charges here. Elf charging these 2 orcs. My captain stayed put. My banner, I moved forward. Yeah, I jumped down with my archers. I rolled a 1. No, I didn't roll. I rolled a 3 and a 5. So 5 got in base contact with this one, and then 5 got him there. So he took the spear support out of combat there, because he literally just jumped over there. I left that dwarf warrior where he was. I left my Rivendell archer where he was. This dwarf warrior is going to make his way over to this objective, and that dwarf is running towards that objective. And these orcs are still making their move towards that objective. And that's where we are. So now we have got shooting. The orcs don't have any because they're either moved or tied up. So I've just got 1 Rivendell shot, and this Rivendell archer is going into this orc archer here. So I'm hitting on a 3. I hit, strength 3, defense 4, 5, so I need a 5 to wound, and I don't wound. And then we shall go on to combat. I am not going to call any heroics, so we're just going to go straight into combat. Alright, where do I want to start? I'll work my way from the dwarves and then over there. So I'll start off with this one first. So I've got an orc archer against a dwarf spearman. So I shall do this. Rivendell, dwarf, Agmar, Barad-dûr. So Barad-dûr takes it. He hasn't got... There's no banner over there. He is defense 7 with a shield. So on a 6. Ooh, freaking heck. He freaking wounds him and kills him. Oosh. So that's 1 dwarf down. Then we've got this dwarf fighting these 2 orcs. So by the way, it's technically Barad-dûr can pick the fights. So if trapping and everything like that, hopefully it's not going to be too bad, but it's technically Barad-dûr picking these fights, okay? So these 2 orcs are fighting this dwarf. This dwarf is going to shield, and the 2 orcs are just going to make attacks. So the dwarf with his shield, he gets a 6. I'm pretty sure he's the higher fight, but I'll roll the Barad-dûr anyway. They both got a 6. Let me just double check. The dwarf is fight 4, the orcs are fight 3. The orcs lose and they just back off an inch, like so. I won't do the ring wraith yet, so I'll do this lot. We'll save the heroes till last. So we've got 2 orcs versus 2 dwarves of Erebor. 2 Agmar dice versus 2 Elven dice. The Elves are dwarves. Agmar, Barad-dûr. Okay, Barad-dûr, they got 2 5s. The dwarfs got a 4 and a 2. They take, Barad-dûr takes it. So they need now 6s to kill the dwarf, which they failed to do. So the dwarfs just back off an inch. Good. Next fight, same thing. The banner is too far away for a reroll. Even if they did reroll to a 6, the dwarves would have taken it on fight value. They have strength 4. A free game 1 and a 2, they still fail. So these back off an inch. And then the last fight was pretty much the same, 2 on 2. Barad-dûr takes it on a 6. They need 6s. Not quite. Let the dwarves back off. Like about an inch, which is something like that. So that's all done. Let's do the main one with the dwarf captain. The dwarf captain, he doesn't have any might. Wait, yes, because they called the heroic move and they called the heroic move and heroic march. So the dwarf captain and the regular dwarf, right? They've got a 6. I'm not sure what the ring race fight is, but I'll have a sneaky look. Right, he got a 5. I just need to see the fight values of everything. So what I'm going to do with my ring wraith, I'm going to spend my last point of might to bump that up to a 6. So they both fight 5. So that's a draw. Then we're going to use a fangone dice to make it evens, I guess. 1, 2, 3, it goes to evil. 4, 5, 6, it goes to the forces of good. And it goes to evil, so evil wins the fight. So the dwarf and his captain backs off. Strength, I want to say 5 against defense 8. It's not 5, sorry. Strength 4. Let's see if it matters. On a 3, that doesn't wound. By the way, both ring wraiths are losing a point of will because they've been in combat. So that'll take them down to... they've used 2, they start off with 14, so 12, something like that. But I mark it off on the sheet now. Okay, so that's all the combat's done with the dwarves. Then we go over to the elves. So we'll start off on a 1-on-1 here. Agma, so the elf takes it on a 5. Strength 3 needs a 5 to kill, which he fails to do. So he backs off an inch. Same again with a 1-on-1 here. Agma takes it. Not Agma, sorry, Barad-dûr takes it, but there is a banner for the elves. Which he gets. And even though they both roll a 6, the elf has a higher fight. So he needs a 5 to kill, which he fails to do. So they just back off an inch like so. What else have we got? Right, we've got 4 orcs versus this lone elf. So the elf is going to shield. And then the 4 orcs shall make attacks as well. Okay, so the elf got a double 2. They've got a 5. The elf does get a reroll. He gets a 4, so even with that he fails. So he technically backs off an inch. But then he has 4 attacks against him. He is defense 6 against strength 3, so it's 6s. And he lives. So that's that combat. Then we've got this elf versus 2 orcs and the ring wraith. The elf will shield. Gets a 1 and a 2, great. The ring wraith gets a 5. And 2 orcs get 2 4s. I shall banner one with the elf. He gets a 4, so he loses the fight. The ring wraith doesn't kill him. The 2 orcs, they don't kill him either. They needed 6s, so he just backs off an inch like so. That's all the combats. Lost a dwarf, but everyone else kind of held well. So we'll do priority. Is there anything else I need to do? No, yes, priority. Okay, so the forces of good get priority. Okay, so just to show you that I'm doing it right. So the elf and the dwarf don't have any might, and the elf has lost his will. Both ring wraiths have lost 2 will because 1 for a spell and 1 for being in combat, and this ring wraith has lost 1 might because he mighted a roll, I think. Yeah, I spent it on something, I can't quite remember. But they both still have a might. So what I'm going to do, I am going to spend heroic move with the ring wraiths. So this one is out of might, and that one still has a might. And we're going to call it move. They have nothing, the forces of good don't have anything to counter it with. They're also going to say, come with me. So they get to move, everyone gets to move around with them, except those orcs over there. And I'll be back after the movement. I've done my heroic move. Basically, you saw there's 2 orcs on that dwarf. There is an orc on this captain, there's an orc on that guy, so he can't get spear support. These 2 orcs charge that guy, these 2 orcs charge there. Archer on elf, archer on elf. Banner behind this spear support, who is supporting this orc against that elf. This orc charged the captain and the banner. Then we've got 3 orcs on that, 1 swordsman there, and the ring wraith kind of pulled out of combat a bit, same with this ring wraith. Now, for spells, this ring wraith, he's going to spend 1 will to cast Transfixed on the captain. So on a 3+, that freaking sucks, he fails. This one, he's going to spend 2 points of will, which I've already marked off, and he's going to cast Black Dart on the elf banner. So I need this on a 5+, which I do get it. He doesn't have any will to resist, so it's a strength 9 against defense 5. That definitely doesn't kill him. That freaking sucks, doesn't it? Woo, magic. So good. So yes, so the banner doesn't die. Okay, so that's the heroic move done for the forces of evil. Then I've got the forces of good movement. So what I'm going to do, we'll move this archer a bit closer, so he moves 6. So he's not shooting at anything. We could lend some support over there to make sure. Tell you what, this archer, he is going to move 3 inches so he can still shoot. And we're going to see if we can pick off some of those orcs over there. This dwarf moving 5 is going to take in a base contact with this objective. And this dwarf over here moving 5, and it'll take him into base contact with that objective. He's staying there. Everyone else is tied up over here. Well, technically I could move these spear supports, but I'll just keep them there holding the line basically. I could... Can I get him in there? Whoop, whoop, whoop. I'm not too worried about the captain actually. No, we'll see if we can do some damage there. I'll leave him there. These 2 orcs. Alright, we've got to worry about that archer now because he's freaking moved. We are basically going to take the coward's way, and we're going to move our 6. And we're going to move behind the building. So he's in base contact. There. And this is going to be... He's going to be there. So something like that. And then I don't think the elf has line of sight. He does have line of sight through that window. Can you see that black... Oh, sorry, I know it's a bit blurry. Can you see that black dot over there? Well, that's the orc. So I guess you can shoot him from there. But it's going to be another way and stuff, so it's not great. Okay, so that's all the movement done. So we're going to do the shooting. We're going to do that 1 elf shot through the window. Hitting on a 5. Hitting on a 4, sorry, it misses anyway. Okay, so that's all that done. Then we're going to do some combat. So once again, whose turn is it? It's the elves get to pick. Well, the forces of good get to pick. Trying to see if there's anyone trapped. Anything worth doing first. Not really. So I'll start off this side and then work way over there. So this dwarf against these 2 orcs. I am going to... I'm going to shield with the dwarf, and the 2 Agmar and the 2 Barad-dûr orcs are going to attack. They both roll a 5, but the dwarf has the higher fight value, so they back off an inch. Like that. The dwarf captain versus the orc. The orc will shield, because might as well. Right, the orc fails. Strength 4. Strength 4, defense 5. Yeah guys, it is 5s to wound, so this orc just backs off an inch. Then we've got an orc archer versus this dwarf. I'll fight straight up. The Barad-dûr orc takes it, looking for a 6. Oh dude, these orcs. And it kills the dwarf. Okay, this is not what I was expecting, to be honest with you. But interesting. Then we got 2 dwarves versus 2 orcs. Yes, I'll just fight normally. They do have axes as well, the spears, and so I could axe if I wanted to, but I think I'm just going to fight normally. There's no banner over there, so Barad-dûr orc and the dwarf roll 2 5s, but the dwarf has the higher fight, so he takes it. That's a kill, because he has strength 4. Sorry, that is a 5, I know that might be hard to see. So he kills 1. So that's 1 casualty to Barad-dûr. Next one, 2 on 2. Fighting normally. There's no banner, Barad-dûr takes it. Looking for 6s to wound. They don't. Luckily dwarf have the high defense, so they just back off an inch. To the line there. Same again. Ooh, look at that, that's pretty freaking cool. Dwarves definitely want this one. 5s, unfortunately they don't get it though. So these back off an inch. Like that. Making, then again, I would say making some progress, but not really because they've lost 2. Over here we've got an elf versus an orc. The elf takes it on a 6. Even with a banner reroll, there you go, you still would have lost because of the fight value. The elf needs a 5, which he fails, so this backs off an inch. Then we've got the same thing going on. They both were a 5. The banner for the orc, still a 5, so the elf takes it on fight value. And he kills the orc. Nice. Yeah. So they've both lost 2. We're going to do 3 orcs on 1 elf. The elf is going to shield, while the 3 orcs are going to attack. Freaking heck. There is an orc banner there. Freaking heck. So he kind of just beats everyone back an inch. That. We've got an elf warrior versus these 2. The elf warrior, I'm going to shield while the 2 orcs attack. Ugh, damn. There is an orc banner there, but it doesn't matter because he takes it on fight value. So the orcs back off an inch, like so. And then we've got the banner and a captain versus this orc. The orc is going to shield, and the captain is going to fight. I do have an extra dice as well for the banner, but he's at -1. I'll tell you what, the banner is going to be the Fangorn dice, the captain is going to be the Rivendell dice, and the orc is going to be Agmar dice. So the Fangorn dice is at -1 because he's a banner. Okay, so the captain takes the fight anyway. Technically there is a banner reroll, even though it's a 5. The captain still takes it on a 5. There we go. So the banner, I think that kills him anyway, but either way he's dead. Boom. And I believe that is all the combat, so kind of a mixed bag. Actually no, there's 3 dead orcs and 1 dead dwarf in that combat. So they've lost 2 dwarves and the bad guys have lost 3 orcs, so here and there. Priority. So we'll do... the forces of good take it. I do have 1 might left on this ring wraith. I'm probably going to save it for combat, so I'm not going to bother. Maybe like a Midas spell or something like that. Yeah, so I'm just going to let the forces of good take that priority. So for movement, we can have this guy charge here. This, oh yeah, this guy is going to charge these two. This dwarf charging those two. My captain, he's going to make a run for... I don't think he can because of control zones. Why if he goes there and just doesn't leave it and just charges, right? So the captain's going to charge those two. Oh, he does have to make a courage test actually. He is -1. He gets it on an 8 anyway, because he's courage like 4 or 5. So he gets into, he charges those two. This dwarf is going over here to back up the captain as a spear support. This dwarf is going over here to take out this orc. It's not great. He's going to go here. These two are going to go there. This elf, he's going to charge this archer. This elf is going to help on this front. Well, technically I could have gone there then, if I could see that. So there you go. I'll do that. So he's spear support in there, so there's 2 on 2. Elf, dwarf on there. Right, it's not... It's the banner I'm worried about, to be honest. This elf is going to charge these two. This elf will charge this orc. The captain will go in to charge those 2 orcs. The banner will stand by his side. So the ring wraith is free to do ring wraith stuff. So is it worth... basically, if I can get the archer within 6, so even if the ring wraith does magic him, he could... So I'm going to do, actually, it's a bit stupid, but I'm going to move the banner back. I'm going to move this archer 6 to get him here, so even if the banner does get magic to death, he can pick up the banner. We'll do it like that. That dwarf staying put, that dwarf staying put, that dwarf staying put. That is the forces of good movement. The ring wraith, he is going to go here. Let's actually move him properly. So he's going to move 2 inches to see the doorway, and he's within 12 of that dwarf. So he's going to use 2 of his will. So he's got 9 will left after this. And he's going to cast Black Dart onto that dwarf. On a 5. Right, I get it on a 6. The dwarf doesn't have any will to resist. So strength 9 against defense 7. Oh, dude, that's like 2 ones in a row. And it's definitely not a 2-2, and otherwise I would have minded it. That freaking sucks, man. Right, okay. And then, so he's moved 2. Then he will move his rest. So he's moved 2, he moved 6. So I guess he moved 4. And I'm just going to put him there, behind the building. That one can't cast any spells. All the orcs of here are tied up. That spear orc is going to stay there, while this other orc, he's going to go 6. And he is going to go somewhere but there. And he might, depending if the ring wraith fails, he might try and take the objective, because so far evil is only holding 1, but the forces of good are holding 3. So that's all magic. That's all... Oh, I wanted the Black Dart. No, again, it was more important taking out the dwarf, I think. Okay. So we'll do combat. It's the forces of good's priority. I'll start off this way and keep going. So this dwarf versus this archer. The archer takes it. Looking for a 6. Oof, dude. These dwarfs cannot handle these orcs. Then we've got 2 orcs versus that dwarf. The dwarf is going to shield, and the orcs are just going to attack normally. Freaking heck. 3 6s there, banging. But because the dwarf is a higher fight, the dwarf takes it. But it doesn't make strikes, so they just back off an inch. Then let's save that one for the last dwarf combat. We got a 1-on-1. Dwarf takes it because there's no banner. Strength 4, defense 5, no, but he does, so he just backs off. Then we've got 2-on-2. The dwarf takes it just on a 3. Freaking murks him. Oosh, he's gone. We've got a dwarf on this orc. The orc takes it, looking for a 6. When she fails, so the orc just backs off an inch. Sorry, I did slightly move in there. Elf versus orc. Yes, the orc takes it, looking for a 6, and he fails, so he backs off an inch. Then for this side of the board, we'll do the big combat. So we got an orc captain, we got a dwarf captain and a regular dwarf versus the ring wraith and an orc. So the captain and the dwarf and the ring wraith and the orc, they don't have any might, so I'm just going to roll as is. Ooh. So the dwarf takes it. Right, so they're both strength 4, defense 8. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put all 3 of my attacks into the ring wraith. So I need 6s. I get 1 6. Then the ring wraith has 2 fate, so I'll use 1. And then I'll use my other. Oh, dude. Ring wraiths are so good. So the ring wraith has 1 wound, so the ring wraith is slain. But that's not the warlord ring wraith. So he is slain. He's banished back to the darkness, and this orc is just like, bruh. So that's this side done. We got an elf and an orc over here. Elf and the orc. The orc wins the fight, needing a 6 to wound. It's cocked. Freaking heck, killing the elf. So there's that. We'll save the captain for last. We'll do 2 orcs versus that elf. The elf is going to shield. The orcs are going to strike normally. Okay, the elf got a 5, the orc got a 5, but there is a banner involved. There also is a banner for the elf. Ooh. Right, so the orcs take it, needing 6s. They get it, kill the elf. Ooh. Freaking spicy up in here. 1 elf versus 1 orc. Banner for the elf. Elf takes it on fight value, even if there was a banner. Fails to wound. I think that was just 5 or 6, one of those. Backs off an inch through the doorway. Then we've got the elf captain versus 2 orcs. Yeah, they'll just fight him straight up, I think. You got a 3, but there is a banner. A 6, interesting. But there is also a banner for the elf. Oh, he doesn't have a might, unfortunately. So the 2 orcs take it. I want to say 6s, either way, it doesn't wound him. I think he's defense 7 with a shield. So he backs off like so. That's all the combats. I just need to check where everyone is at. Okay, so the forces of good, if they lose 5 more, they're broken. And the forces of evil, if they lose 7 more, they are broken. So we'll do priority now. The forces of good take it. Evil's all out of might. Oh, sorry, this one does have a might. I'm not going to bother because there's no way to get to him. So he's just doing that. Right, I need to think what I want to do now. This elf will charge this orc. The captain will go into these 2 again. This elf will go into these 2. The banner he's going to have a banner off. Because we're both -1, so why the hell not? This elf is going to charge this orc. This dwarf is going to charge these two. This captain. This captain's going to be a big help over here, I think. So this guy's going to charge this orc over here. This guy is going to fight this orc over here. And where the hell is my stick? Basically, I'm seeing if 5 inches would take him into the center. Yeah, it would. So he's going to go into these two, like so. He's going into him. These two are going into this orc. Everyone else is staying put to hold the objectives. Forces of evil. That orc is staying put. This guy, he's going to move his 6, which would take him about there, somewhere over there. Ringwraith, he is going to spend 2 points of will. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I'll leave him on like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, which will leave him on 7 will. And he's going to try and black dart that dwarf. Gets on like last time. Hopefully he can do it again. Oh my days, dude. Right, that is 3 ones in a row for black dart. You can't make it up. Unbelievable. Looks like the freaking Valar with the forces of good. Okay. Magic done. Movement done. Then we'll do... There's no shooting, because everyone's in combat, so we'll do combat. Forces of good get to pick the fights. So we'll start off over here, and then we go this way. So the first one I'm going to do is this dwarf versus this archer. The dwarf takes it. I think it's 4s. Well, either way, it goes down here 6. So we lose an orc. We got a dwarf on orc. We're fighting straight up. The orc takes it, looking for a 6. Just misses that, so the dwarf backs off an inch. Capo versus those two. Yeah, they'll fight him straight up. 2 versus 2. Ooh, it's no banner, so Agmar takes it on a 6. He's defense 8, because he's a captain, so 6s and 4s. Freaking heck. Oh, okay. Dude, that was close though. Freaking heck. So he just backs off an inch. Yeah, because there's strength 3, he's defense 8, 6 and 4s. Oof, okay. We got 1-on-1, dwarf versus orc. Lol, they're both royal, so the dwarf takes it on fight value. Strength 4, defense 5. Yeah, so 5 kills him. I double check the chart. Yeesh. Then we've got 2 dwarves on this one orc. So the orc is going to shield and the 2 dwarves are striking. The dwarves get on a 6. Looking for a 5. And nil. So he backs off an inch. Then we've got 2 orcs on 1 dwarf. The dwarf shall shield and the orcs will attack normally. Yes, so they both rolled a 4. There's no banner nearby, so the dwarf takes it on fight value. So these guys just back off an inch. Like that. Elf versus orc. Three parts. The elf does get a banner reroll, so he needs a 5 or 6. Oh, that's just 1 short. Needing a 6, he fails, so that'll take him back an inch. I'll do this elf versus this orc. Fighting normally, both of them. They both roll a 3. I think that orc's a bit too far for the banner. Yes, he is. So he's just out for the banner. It's like a 4 or 5 he's away. So the elf takes it on fight. He needs a 5. Gets on a 6, kills the orc. See, I'm thinking about doing the banner on banner fight. But if the orc banner dies, then they don't get it against the captain. But if the elf banner dies, the elf doesn't get it against those two. We'll do it for the 5s. Lol. So they both roll a 5, but the elf takes it on fight value. On a 5, he's fine. So both banners just go their separate ways, like that. So they both still get their banner. 2 orcs on that, 1 archer. Archer takes it on a 6. Banner. Oh, he would have gone on fight value anyway. I'm going to strike this orc. On a 5, no. You just back off an inch. Captain versus these 2 orcs. Banner reroll. Nope, the orcs get him. I need to see what defense he is. So that is a successful wound against the captain. So he has a fate, which he passes. So he is out of fate, and he has 2 wounds. That captain has used everything this game, and he backs off an inch. Can you believe like 2 orcs are taking on a captain? Lol. That is all the combat. Barad-dûr is 4 away from breaking, and the forces of good are 5 away from breaking. Priority. Forces of good are taking the priority, so they've been good at taking that. I'm trying to think, is there a way for this elf to go all the way around and charge? Not really. No, I'm just going to let it happen. We'll let it happen. Because he still has his point of might, we'll save it for something like freaking black dart if I don't keep rolling 1s. The captain is going into these 2 again because it's working so well. This elf is going here. This elf is going here. The banners are having a banner off. Who's got the coolest banner? This elf versus this orc. This dwarf versus this orc. Dwarf versus orc. This dwarf versus this orc. Dwarf on orc. Dwarf on orc. Captain on orc. We'll do a sneaky freaking spear support over there. We're just going to go for it. Charge there. Stay in put, stay in put, stay in put. Ringwraith is... he's going to move over to this window. And he is going to use 2 points of will. So that'll leave him on 5 will. So he has got 5 will and 1 might left. And his 2 fate. He is going to try and black dart the dwarf. Can we get it? Right, dude, if I roll a 1 again, that's twice now I've rolled a 1 and a 6. A 2. I'm going to spend my point of might to make that a 3. Actually, is that even a kill? Strength 9, defense 7. So I'm going to spend my point of might, so I'm out of might now. And I'm going to kill this dwarf with a black dart. And then that makes my orcs free to go like this. Oh, it's mine now. So that's all the movement. Then we go into combat. There's still no shooting. Anyone? So the forces of good get to pick. Seeing if there's anyone trapped. No, I think it's just a fair fight. So we'll go over this way. Dwarf versus orc. Orc takes it. That's a fail. Captain versus orc. The orc will shield. Captain takes it on a 6. Strength 4, defense 5. I can't remember. I don't think it's 4s. No, I double checked, it is 5s to kill, so he just backs off an inch. 1-on-1. The orc takes it. Does he kill? Oh, freaking heck. He does. We've got 2 dwarves on this orc. The orc will shield. Dwarves take it on fight value and roll 5s. They do kill. Then we've got orc versus dwarf. Dwarf takes it. Dwarf doesn't kill. So they back off an inch. Same again, 1-on-1. Barad-dûr takes it. Needing a 6. Nope. Backs off an inch. Elf versus orc. Freak and act the roll in. 3. He's just in, so he gets a reroll. Oosh. Just to show I'm not cheating you, evil players. There's 3 there. So elf takes on fight value. Using a 5, he doesn't wound him anyway. We'll do the banners last. We all get a banner, right? Elf versus orc. The orc is going to shield. Even with his brave shielding, he fails because the elf has got the fight value. On a 5, he fails to wound. The orc is going to fight straight up, see if he can kill the archer. I think the archer is out of 3. He is. So Barad-dûr orc takes it, looking for a strength 3, defense 5. That's a kill. Then we've got captain versus these 2 orcs. So the captain and the 2 orcs go. Right, captain's got a banner. Bro, how is this happening? You're captain of Rivendell. Okay, so the Barad-dûr orcs take it. They don't wound him though. Ooh, so he just backs off. Banner versus banner. Who's got the greater banner? They both roll 1s, technically 0s, but the elf takes her on a fight value. Kia! He doesn't wound him. So they just back off an inch like that. No one's broken, but they both took some casualties there, and they both need 3 to break. So we do priority. Ooh, the forces of evil take it this time. What do we need to do as the forces of evil? Right, so the forces of evil. Charge, 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 charge the banner. Banner's going this way. 1 orc into the captain. Oh, send 2 orcs in the captain, that seems to be working well. 2 orcs into this guy. Like that. We need to get these guys off their objectives, so let's say inch, he moves 5, so let's say 5 from the door. I'll take him to like there. Is that within 12 of that dwarf? New. Basically my idea with the ring wraith is just to keep spamming black darts on the guys in the objectives. So what we'll do then, we shall move this ring wraith here, so at least he is a bit closer. And then maybe next turn we can cast black dart on some dwarf over there, or at least move over there. Stay and put, stay and put. That is the evil movement. All the forces of good are tied up. So there's that. So forces of evil get to pick the turns of fighting. I don't want to black dart anything over here actually. I've only got... No, I haven't got that much will left. So I'm going to save my black darts for the guys on objectives. I really should do black dart into the captain, but we'll just save it for the objectives, I think. Okay. We're going to do this orc versus this bannerman. The orc gets it. Technically, the bannerman got a 5, but that's technically a 4, so the orc takes it. Looking for a 5. Kills him. So the banner of Rivendell falls. We'll do this orc versus this Rivendell elf. The elf No, he's going to fight him straight up. Gets her on a 6. He's looking for a 5. And he fails that, so the orc just backs off an inch. I'm trying to think which ones do I want to do first. I guess it really doesn't matter from this point. 2 dwarves versus this orc. The orc is going to shield. And fails. They're looking for 5s. They do, that kill the orc. Then we've got orc versus these 2. Don't know if I should just... No, I need to buy my ring race sometime to kill people off the objective. So the orc is going to shield. The dwarves do take it though on fight value. They do kill the orc. Ooh. Captain versus orc. The orc is going to shield. Captain takes it on fight. Kills the orc. Then we've got dwarf versus orc. No shield over that, so it's just a roll off. Dwarf takes it on fight. The 4's a kill because he hasn't got a shield. Strength 4, defense 4, force kills him. The forces of evil are broken now. But we still do have some combats. We have a combat over here with the elf captain versus the 2 orcs. Dude, every freaking time the orcs have had this guy. Can they kill him? No. Backs off an inch. 2 orcs versus elf. The elf is going to shield. Elf takes it on fight value. And roll. So they back off an inch. Okay. The forces of evil are broken. On a 1 or a 2, the game ends. So I'm going to use this with a Fangorn dice. The game continues. Priority. Agmar take it. I don't think he gets anyone. Okay, so his courage affects that orc and that orc, so those 2 aren't running. But everyone else has to make a courage test, which freaking is so good for evil. Okay, that orc passes. This orc passes. That orc. What is it? 4, 5, 6. I have no idea what courage they are. They're not courage 3, are they? Which orc was that? I think it was this one. No, he passed, so he must have failed. Courage 2 they are, so they need 7s. 8s. That orc next to the captain. Fine. That orc. 5, 6, 7, 8. Fine. These are brave orcs. Banner orc. Whoa, they don't care. They don't care. This orc. You got him though. Oosh. That orc. Gone. That's all the courage tests needed. So that's not good. Evil stuff. The ring wraith is going to stand in the center there. And I'm hoping... Oh, sorry. He's fine there. And fine there. So he's basically passing those 2 courages if he stands there. I know it's a bit gamey. Banner's probably screwed. I don't know what to do. I'm just going to leave him on the objective in the center. There. So then he can die there. Right. Movement wise. Here. Captain. Here. Stay put, stay put. Forces of good. Stay put, stay put. As the dwarves now, we kind of need to take this objective. So it's what? 3, 5. This guy's going here and charge the banner. Space. We'll just go here. We'll just. Why am I? Yeah, Space Ball the elf. I thought that was the orc for some reason. We're going here. Captain. We will go this way. Yeah, we'll send that guy as well. Over there. Oh, sorry, I forgot to do stuff with my... I'm going to do some black dart on my captain over here. I'm going to... Did I get within 12 of that? I doubt. No, I'm just out of 12 of that guy. So I'm going to try and score a different point by black darting the... the high elf captain. Using 2 points of will. Sucky. That equals 5, but that's not a 5. So that fails. Alright, we're just going to save the rest of my will for like staying put. Okay, so I have 3 will left on that ring wraith, by the way. And 2 fate. So then it's combat. Force of evils get to pick. We shall do this one. Takes it. There's no banner for the elves because they lost it. No wound. Captain versus that. The orc is going to... I am going to see if I can do a sneaky wound to the captain. So I'm going to try him straight up. That's why we fight straight up. On a 6. No. Basically, if I wounded him, that's a point. Because he's the leader. Oh. This poor orc. He's going to shield. We've got 1, 2, 3 dwarves. And the Fangon will be the elf. Actually, it doesn't matter because they're all the same fight now. They take it. And they are murdering him. I had to roll this differently because the different strengths. Elf, apologies, I did this wrong. 3, actually strength 3 defense. His defense 5. No, it wouldn't have mattered. No, they don't wound him. It's if he was defense 4, it would have mattered, but because he's defense 5, it doesn't matter. Okay, that's all the combats. Oh, sorry, no, I got to do the banner. The banner's going to shield. The dwarf is going to attack straight up. The banner is -1, so that's technically a 5, so he loses. Can the dwarf kill? No. It does back off an inch though, so that's contested. Does the game end? It does, on a 2. So I've actually got 19 for the Forces of Good. So I said there was 20, but technically there was 19, but they still needed to lose 2 anyway, which if it was 19 they would have technically had to lose 1 to be broken, so they're not actually broken. So they're fine. So evil is still broken because they lost way more than 23. The Forces of Good hold 2 objectives, that one and that one. Force of Evil hold 2, which is the one in the center and the one over there, and that one is contested. So both sides score 4 points for that. No one caused wounds to the enemy leader, even though it was close a few times. But the Forces Good score the extra victory point because the enemy force is broken and they are not. So it's at the end of the game, it's 5-4. So it is a victory for the Forces of Good. Welcome to the after game chat. Well, it was a pretty close game between them. Literally, I was actually surprised how well the orcs did against the dwarves and the elves, considering the dwarves have higher defense, better fight, and better strength, and the elves just have higher fight, but they did quite well against them. I did enjoy the small point game of Lord of the Rings with lesser heroes. It felt more fair than like having Aragorn or Elrond running around the pitch, or freaking the Witch King or whatever. So I did enjoy the basic heroes with just loads of little guys. That was pretty fun. The orcs did roll quite well for their morale. They stayed around. I rolled a lot of, well, what they needed. Lol. They kicked the freaking elf captain's ass as well, those two orcs did. They were holding him back. I kind of like the idea of not playing with the army bonuses as well. So the elves and the dwarves didn't get them because they're ally inconvenience, and Barad-dûr's army bonuses focused on, what's it called? The Dark Lord, Sauron. So they didn't get their army bonus really because they didn't have the Dark Lord. Basically it's something to do with his, like if he's on the battlefield, they're fine, and he can extend his warband to like 21 or something crazy. But he didn't have him, they just had the basic ring race, so. But yeah, nice and simple Lord of the Rings. It was basically up to the dice rolls. And as you can see, that's what made it so close, I think. Between all the shielding and stuff like that, so having more dice there. Banners helped as well. I have got more dwarves to paint. I bought 2 boxes of Erebor dwarves. I've painted what you've seen. Basically, my idea for 450 points of Erebor is like 3 captains, and then, let's see, you get 24 in a box. So then, yeah, it's like 45 split up between the warbands. So it's 3 captains, or was it 4? No, there's 4 captains, sorry. So it's 44, so it's 11 or something like that per captain, or something along those lines. So that's basically my 450 points of Erebor. What I do like about the box actually is that they all come with shields. So the dwarf spears have shields and the dwarf axemen have shields. That's nice. I guess it's because they don't have archers or whatever. I have got I've converted some scouts from Isengard with the shields to be, I basically painted them as black shields of Barad-dûr for my evil army as well. So we're going to have some of them and some Mordor Uruk-hai coming in as well. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, I would appreciate if you left a like, and if you have anything to say, just leave it in the comments. Anyway guys, I will catch you in the next one, and take care.